Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
The only comic book review show where we talk about books in the past week, recap, review them, let you know what we thought about them, and then give you recommendations for books that are coming out this week we think you should pick up. Got a lot of things to talk about this week because it's the holiday week for the people here in America. We got Thanksgiving coming up. We have a lot to be thankful for. Even despite the COPA thing, we have a lot of amazing things to be very grateful for, and I am, of course. I know you are as well, but I wanted to say, just on behalf of the channel, I'm very grateful and thankful for all of you out there. I'm thankful this episode marks the 300th episode of Off the Rack.
Wait, really?
Yeah, this is episode 300.
How come I never get to know about these things before we go live?
What would we do?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do.
Oh.
Before we get started, I want to say that we are going to be giving away a book. I'm going to be ordering you a copy of Long Halloween because I consider this to be kind of like a Thanksgiving book.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really know why,
Okay.
but I kind of like it. So in order to win your copy of The Batman The Long Halloween, please, in the chat, use the hashtag Batman. And we'll go from there. Our plucky, intrepid mod, Danielle, will select one lucky winner, hopefully within the continental United States. And yeah, at the end of the show, we'll find out who won a copy of Batman Long Halloween. It's a big, long book, and it's a great one. It's a fantastic book. But yeah, 300 episodes of this show.
That's crazy.
This is one of our most long-running shows on this channel. It actually
Yeah.
it started out with back issues. The next show was Off the Rack. So this is our second, like our Robin to the Batman of the channel.
Yeah, and also, but it had like a weird run where it was coming out more frequently. It's very much like a comic.
Yeah, it's true.
We tried for a little bit coming out more frequently. We couldn't keep up with it. We made it once a week instead.
That's
so
right.
here
That's
we
right.
are.
But I'm a big fan of the live, kind of like more multiple review type format that we've evolved into.
Yeah.
I do miss the whole like look of the old show.
Yeah.
But it took triple the time and 3 times fewer people watched the show.
There you go.
At least with this, there's something for everybody.
There you go.
So you may not know this already, but the show here is sponsored. We have a sponsor. It's you out there who's watching the show live. So if you want to sponsor the show, please, all you got to do is use the super chats, and you can ask a question or make a comment, and we will read it here on the show, and that will go towards the benefit of this channel, which I've mentioned, is in a weird place. Not that like we're in a weird place. We're doing fine. We're doing everything as usual. The only issue is everything else around it. Is YouTube itself? Is because we're not a kid-friendly channel. We've never been.
Nope.
We are not
Sorry.
going to be marginalized or put into another thing. It's more that like because of it's almost like YouTube was like, ooh, an opportunity. How about we screw over the amount of people who watch your shows and stuff like that? We're doing that already. Let's dig you over a little bit more. So like we're getting a little bit of that. So,
It is what it is, but you know what? It's okay.
That's right. Is it? No, it's not okay at all. It's horrible.
No, it's okay. We're still gonna make our shows.
We're still going
and,
to keep doing it, but yeah.
We're just gonna keep persisting.
That's right. Cam Senses says, can't stay, but can we please talk about how good Lemire's question book is? I just picked it up so we don't get infinite Batman books from Black Label. That's fair. We're going to be actually getting into the question, but a little later in the day. But thank you very much, Cam, for your very generous contribution, and we'll jump into these books. So, to kick things off, I'm going to talk a little bit about The Amazing Mary Jane #2 from Leah Williams and Carlos Gomez.
Okay.
The Amazing Mary Jane is a miniseries which features, of course, Mary Jane Watson, formerly Mary Jane Watson Parker, where she's on the West Coast. She's involved in a movie. Turns out Mysterio is making the movie, but that's not going to stop her from launching her new acting career, which is to say it's different from her old acting career.
Right.
But yeah, and basically the book is a buddy comic. It's a comic about how like Quentin Beck is a misunderstood artist and Mary Jane just doesn't want to have wasted her time. That's how it feels.
fair.
Like, I mean, she's also like, she's like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and she's using her incredible mind and her talent and her connections to make this movie happen and to thwart any obstacle that's in their path. But the fact is, she clearly just doesn't want to have wasted all this effort and time, and this is her comeback too, so she wants to make sure it happens.
Is she like in a life giving her lemons sort of?
She doesn't really approach it that way. In fact, there's not a lot of exploration for Mary Jane. She doesn't really get a chance to stop or to calm down or to take a minute. She's constantly working. She's constantly putting out fires. And remember the last page reveal from the previous issue where all the villains are like, looks like we're going to Hollywood. Well, in the last page of this issue, they do.
Oh.
So the whole rest of this issue is just kind of like a fun little, like, look at Quentin and Mary Jane try and finagle money into this production. I thought the production was literally fine, but I guess not. And so,
well, obviously they had to do reshoots, and they had to,
it's a whole thing.
Retool the script. So
right. So it's a fun book. It is utterly disposable, but I think that if you are looking for more justice for Mary Jane, if you want to justify that Mary Jane needs a book, if you want to justify that Mary Jane is at least a major player in the Spider-Man world, like some folk who work at Marvel don't, then I highly recommend it. Otherwise, if you're just like, is this going to be important? Does this contribute to the whole Spider-Man stuff? No, it does not. It's just a little fun story about Mary Jane, featuring Mary Jane, and I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that Spider-Man will not be in the series.
Oh, okay.
Which is good. I think that he doesn't need to support Mary Jane in this endeavor. So looking forward to seeing where it goes, but it's cute. It's a sweet book, and so I recommend it for those of you who like that kind of thing. Sad Althani in the super chat helping us out in a big bad way. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
He says, "Hello, how's it going? It's going well, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly came out this past Monday.
It did,
and it did okay. So but it did better than what I was worried about when it initially launched. So it's doing okay.
It's crawling up. I think it's just we're seeing slower climbs, which I don't think it's a problem at the end of the day as long as it gets there.
Exactly. By the way, if you want to win a copy of Batman The Long Halloween for our 300th episode of Off the Rack, please use the hashtag Batman in the chat right now while you're watching it live. If you're watching it after the fact, you missed the boat, I'm sorry, but please stay tuned for the live show because it's a lot of fun. So let's jump into the rest of it. Speaking of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man number 34 from Nick Spencer and Patrick Gleason. Picking up more with Nick Spencer's whole, 2099 event, plus also Spider-Man is in this book. The star of this series is
Right.
Patrick Gleason's art. Patrick Gleason was born to draw Spider-Man. He's having a great time. I'm having an issue where I feel shades of... Oh, God, who am I thinking of? There was an artist... Oh, Mike Wieringo got to launch Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man back in, 2006 or something. And, God, was that a great idea to put Mike Wieringo on a Spider-Man title? I think he was actually on, one of the earlier books when Spider-Man got good again. But Mike Wieringo being on a book called Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, great idea. Unfortunately, it launched with the book called The Other, or a story arc called The Other.
No!
And so he had to draw Morlun and totems and getting eaten. And I think he helped to draw one of the issues where Spider-Man's face is bashed in by Morlun. So it's there was nothing friendly about the book, and it didn't suit his style. But God, what a great idea! And that's the same thing with this, where Patrick Gleason would be an amazing Spider-Man artist if he was given a Spider-Man comic to draw. But unfortunately, he's being given this weird stealth promotion for the 2099 event because Marvel seems to be really convinced that 2099 can handle an event, but not so convinced that they shouldn't make Spider-Man part of the whole thing.
What's up with that?
That is a device that one of Peter's colleagues invents.
Okay, why does it seem blurry?
Oh,
that's better.
Because it's Comixology.
Okay.
But yeah, no, the plot is Peter, one of Peter's classmates invents a machine which searches the multiverse for probabilities, so you can basically be precognizant. But he only applied it to a small window, and so the whole thing is about time. It's about being able to look in the multiverse, and so obviously Spider-Man's going to use it to deal with the 2099 time issue. Miguel O'Hara, who had been dropped in the present, was looking for Spider-Man. There was an assassination attempt on Dr. Doom, but it turns out it was a Doom bot, because of course it was. And
I'm convinced Doom isn't alive anymore.
Right?
It's just
He's
nothing
been dead
but
forever.
bots.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all that happens. Oh, and Spider-Man wakes up and basically Dr. Doom is screw you for trying to assassinate me. Well, you know what I'm thinking? I'm going to take over the city. And I love Dr. Doom. I think Dr. Doom taking over Manhattan as an affront to his personage is a great idea. But having like very recently remembered that Doctor Doom took over the whole universe, I'm kind of like, oh, the city.
It's small potatoes.
Exactly. But it's fun. It's a fun book, but it's not great. And I really, really wish that Gleason had a chance to just have like to just be able to spread his wings and be like, let me just do a Spider-Man story. Like, here's some Spider-Man. Not like, watch me do a tie-in or some kind of weird, toothless Doctor Doom story.
Right.
So that's too bad. But it has some merit, so I'm not gonna completely discount it. What else you got?
I'm gonna because we have so many books. I'm not gonna go into detail about too many books. So I'm gonna chat about King Thor #3,
Ooh.
the end of Aaron's run on Thor, where it's like in the far-flung future, and we're dealing with Gore and the Necrosword and all that crap. Seemingly, like, Thor and Loki were done for in the last issue, but
what? They didn't die?
Not Thor, at the very least. Thor, like, pulls his way back out just in time for his granddaughters to arrive.
Yay, they're fun.
Yeah, and like they're awesome, and they bring the thunder and the lightning.
I should hope so.
And then we get like what have they been up to? Well, they went to a planet called Indigar.
Okay.
And
what color is it?
It's not indigo.
Oh.
But they reference a lot of God of Thunder, God Bomb.
Oh wow. Well, that makes sense.
In which Thor brought gods to Indigar and all that crap, and those gods are long gone. But the key here is like the prayer, because that's what obviously fuels gods and mythology and story and all of that.
Yep.
And so like one of the sisters wants to or one of the girls wants to pray, and the other one's like, we don't do that. And the third one's like, let's just do it, but let's do it our way. And so like they pray, but like in this like flashy, showy-ness of like thunder and lightning and all that.
Okay.
And they bring the gods back.
Cool.
And then those gods go to Gore and are like, screw you.
Right.
You suck and we hate you.
Yeah. You're overrated, Gore.
So the Sky Lords of Indigar show back up, the Meat Mother, the Comet Goddess. It's just a whole bunch of individuals.
Of crazy names, yeah.
Yes. And they all fight Gore.
Okay.
And like they also rescue Loki, and like they give Loki the book to try to figure out how to stop. And inevitably they seemingly have won. They cut his head off.
Oh, dope.
But they didn't. And like he continues to speak, and it's like too late, because as they were fighting, he's become one with the All Black.
Oh.
And so like he's basically like, welcome to my Necroverse.
Right.
What are you gonna do now? And like you see this cool ass last image of like Thor facing this like planet version of like the Necroverse looking down on him, and he's riding the shark that one of the girls has, and I'm like, that's just cool.
Yeah,
that's just cool.
That's what Aaron specializes in, is giving you like godlike cool.
Yeah, it's this page.
Yeah
It's fun, and it's like, again, I think Aaron really does well telling these stories that could be easily like a mythology story, like a retelling of it in a modern day comic. He's able to like give you that feeling of like grandiose importance to these like mythology, or this mythological story that may never happen because it's so far flung into the future, that kind of thing. So yeah, like just cool, fun. A lot of the stuff, obviously, like being a little less familiar with Thor's background, must go over my head, but Aaron does such a good job that like you really are able to pick up the cues of like who some folk are and how you're supposed to be feeling at the time. I think that's really just a testament to his skill as a writer.
Oh, definitely. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I recommend that, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like now would probably not be the time to jump in.
No, probably not.
But I think as a trade, this is like a fun thing to just have. Especially if you just enjoyed Aaron's run on Thor in general, especially when he talked about like the future.
Yeah. Justice League, the most recent issue came out. I don't remember if this was last week or the week before, but I just wanted to give a quick shout to Justice League. Obviously Scott Snyder, Francis Manapul, Howard Porter. It feels like it's getting to the end of the Year of the Villain Perpetua thing.
That'd be cool.
I feel like it's going to dovetail into a crisis, so I'm not going to get too excited.
Damn it.
That being said, it's a fun read. It's very, like, Silver Age, like, woo! Like it always is.
Okay.
But you're getting some, like, fun double crossings and use of character, and so, like, it feels like things are finally happening. So if you've been kind of on the fence about Justice League, I would recommend it only because like things are happening and it's really not hard to get back into it. Like it's really not hard to figure out what to get your sea legs. For
Right.
But check it out. You know, who doesn't like a little Howard Porter? Taylor Petcher says in the super chat, I know you guys will get to Justice League later, but am I the only one ready for this Justice/Doom War to end? It feels very bloated. It might be one of the most bloated things that Scott Snyder's ever written.
Yeah,
It's easily the most worn out welcome.
Yeah, and especially like taking the war and like mashing it with the Year of the Villain, which means that it is now spilling out into so many other comics.
But like and none of them matter.
No, but like, so I agree, because for me, I'm like, good thing that like Tynion is such a skilled writer and like is like will play ball essentially with what Snyder is doing, and so he made it work at Justice League.
Well, he helps write Justice League itself, so he knows what's up.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, in his Justice League Dark story, he had to obviously tailor it to fit in with what is going on with this, and so like even from the beginning possibly he knew this was coming, and so like put in these breadcrumbs, which is fine because I still think it's a story he wanted to tell, but it's like, but if this wasn't going on, what would have the story have been?
I'm always like frustrated by tie-ins and events, mostly because it usually hamstrings the good writers or the best writers who are just trying to tell their story and only have a little bit of time to do it. Langley M. Neely says, Tiff, have you seen the Death short or the Wonder Woman animated film?
No.
There's a new Wonder Woman. There's the Brian Azzarello.
Well, yeah, and the reason is because we have to re-up our subscription. To
DC. It expired before we noticed. It
expired, and then we forgot, and then honestly, then Disney Plus came out, and so we've been going through that catalog. Yeah. So I'm going to try to take some time out when we get back into that.
Yeah. So we will.
Yes.
But yeah.
Especially the Death one. We knew about it, and we were like, oh, let's go check it out, and then we were like, oh, right.
Yeah.
And then The Mandalorian happened.
Well, and that's so good. So yeah, there are a couple X books that came out. I guess we could talk about those a little bit.
You want to talk about one of them?
Yeah, I figure we'll talk about Excalibur.
Okay.
Excalibur #2 is here.
Woo!
What do you think?
I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I like it too. I'm not gonna say it's bad. So a really short version of this is Excalibur teams up with the Marauders, and they go find this special island that only can be seen by like English pure of heart.
By the way, and
people.
When you say teams with the Marauders, you mean Kitty?
Yeah,
because there's like nobody else present from the Marauders team.
I assume they were below deck.
Sure,
but Kitty ferries them to this special island. They're besieged by monsters.
They're besieged by Selkies.
Yes, which I was like, Tiffany's gonna love this because like these are Scottish mermaids, basically.
They're like, they're evil.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like sirens.
Mermaids are not good people.
No, but it's not like we're not talking the Little Mermaid here. Like, it's not gonna be any like singing crabs or like fun flounders like swimming around.
I thought not.
There won't be any dingle hoppers.
No, or snarfblats. But basically it's a lot of character interplay. Gambit's upset about Rogue.
Yeah.
Jubilee, haplessly joined the team for no reason, but also then spent the whole issue complaining that her child was either with somebody else or not with her.
Well, okay, somebody needs to give me a little clarification on this kid.
It's adopted.
Okay. Is it a mutant?
No.
So I think she is like has every right to be concerned.
Yes.
About that, and obviously, seemingly, it seems like Apocalypse has a reason.
Apocalypse is like if you
like,
thought
got machinations.
If you thought like, oh man, like I wonder who the main villain of this whole shebang is gonna be by the end of Hickman's sprawling Hickman-esque epic. It's gonna be Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse with respect to X-Men #2, and this. Everything, he's in every book, he's got his hands in everything, and what he's cooking up is going to be a lot of fun. I guarantee you he's going to turn Krakoa against the X-Men.
Right, but like my point is that like seemingly maybe she's meant to be there, and like she does have a dream or like a vision almost of like Apocalypse wanting her child, or,
right?
Like, caring
for
her child, like as though there's something more to it. And so like I think we seemingly to us she's there for no reason, but I think there's something that we are unaware of that has not yet been revealed to us in the story. I guess part of the reason I kind of dug this is like Excalibur has that like fun like story style like lore that's going on with it that I dig. Obviously I just got done talking to you about Thor, where we're seeing a lot of that. I mean, Thor on his own would
Yes.
be able to have that kind of story, but then you throw into the future and talk about mythology. That's great. And we're
Right.
seeing that here as well, where
Yeah.
there's like all these like crazy rules. Like you said, like only someone like English pure of heart can see these druids who are walking around who are
Yeah.
like, watch out. There's like all this crap going
Mm-hmm.
on. And then like Rogue ends up being like, there was a lighthouse.
Yes, a special lighthouse that like appears before.
Well, there was a lighthouse there was originally, and it
Yeah.
was attacked by Morgain's forces, and so like when they get Rogue in that area, a lighthouse like
conjures.
and like she's the light at the top.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. That's
Right.
Very,
That's very like mythical. And
yeah,
story.
and like I really like that. And so inevitably, like Apocalypse does show up.
Oh yeah, despite their protests.
Yeah, that he
Of the
does not
contrary.
need to be here. He's just
Yeah.
like, no, it's cool. I'll hold the line.
Right.
And so then they have to go and they need to travel cross to
Yep.
whatchamacallit.
Krakoa.
No, they're not going to Krakoa.
No, well, Jubilee goes to Krakoa during the.
Yeah, but at the end they go to.
Oh yeah, to the other world.
Yeah, exactly. They head on over there. It's Gambit, and it's going to be Betsy and Jubilee, and Jubilee's gonna bring her kid because she doesn't want to leave him with Apocalypse. Fair.
Yep.
Apocalypse has a really big hammer, and he's gonna be doing a lot of fighting, and like it's not like Rogue can help out
Nope.
with the sitting, and they're like, "There's no time. We have to go."
No. Yeah.
And so they go over, and when they arrive, Jubilee immediately freaks out because her kid's gone, and like Betsy's like, "I totally brought him. Don't start with me. Don't start with me."
Yep.
And then they turn around, and like this Maleficent-style dragon is there, and it says Shogo.
Yeah, the baby was turned into the dragon.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and I was like, okay, well, I think I'm done with this.
Well, for me, I was like, okay, why?
Right, yeah. For me, I'm like, okay.
I'm
well,
like, is he enchanted? Is he? Is it?
Yeah, is he magic?
Is it some sort of latent witch breed that we'll find out more about?
that'd be
Like it
cool.
only happens over here.
Yeah.
Like it's something that's triggered.
Right? I don't
When
know.
he gets here, I don't know.
Sounds cool.
So for me, cool.
Right. For me, I'm
you,
like,
maybe
oh,
not so
jeez.
much.
All right. Well, I mean, I appreciate what they're doing,
It's
and I
a-
think it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed the first issue.
It's a
So,
dragon.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. It's more just like, oh, okay, magic.
I mean, like Jubilee never turned into a dragon,
No,
so kid's kind of cooler than she is. Yeah,
definitely.
She only turned into a vampire.
Yeah, nobody wanted that. Vidal Ruiz says, hey, guy, I've been catching up on the old videos. Just wanted to show my support. Thank you very much, Vidal. Really appreciate it.
you.
And yeah, we got a treasure trove of videos. Watch them all. Jay Kino says, glad I got to catch you today. Well, we're glad you were able to join us. Thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you.
Smarty says, this stream is sponsored by the raid Shadow Legends. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate the support. And Saddle Thani says, Excalibur had all the characters act so dumb, though. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's invisible, and the ending was just silly. Yeah, well, it's supposed to feel very
listen,
like Sword in the Stone
That's
Disney-esque.
exactly what it is. And so, like, I think for some people, this is not going to be a book for them because of this whole, like you said, Sword in the Stone.
But, like, that's Excalibur. If you ever read, like, classic Excalibur with, Brian Braddock and Nightcrawler
Yeah.
and Megan and whatnot, it's really silly and very weird.
And like I think what I struggle with though is really Betsy's attitude towards a lot of it is not helping right now
No.
because like Gambit has legit concerns and like he's just
She's
like,
like, shut up.
yeah, and it's like he's like I can't live without this woman. Like they've
Right.
really been through a lot lately, and I appreciate that at least Gambit is like, don't you get it?
Remember my book? It was
Like,
really good. Kelly Thompson's a terrific writer, guys.
Just like we finally get this moment of peace on this island, and immediately it goes to shit,
turns
which
into
is
a lighthouse.
honestly like classic Rogan Gambit luck right there.
Right.
So like there is something to be said about that. The dragon doesn't bother me,
No.
but that's me.
Right.
Like,
I
so
completely get you.
I don't have any problem with everyone else saying that's stupid
Yeah.
because I'm like I get it.
Right.
It's just I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm okay with the dragon.
J. Joseph
Ah.
Frazier says, hello, how would you feel if this next Crisis is a Snyder-Bendis collab? They both seem to be making references to it in their books. I think that's the worst idea that could possibly happen, because neither of them can handle a major event anymore. And I read the first issue of Event Leviathan and was like, nope!
But
and
maybe-
I was rewarded for my troubles with Scott. I feel like he does not, like, he plays well with Tynan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he would play well with Bendis. Those are two big personalities
They
in the
are,
same room.
but I think that they probably excel at a couple of different points in comics, like Bendis would be able to really bring some of those like casual like character conversations.
It would feel more natural than
so we'd have that going, but like, and Snyder has like the historical like knowledge for certain elements of things and that explanation,
right?
So maybe it would somehow cancel each other out in terms of the negative qualities that they might have lately. And,
I would hope so.
Produce something strong. That's a looking at the glass half full.
That really is. It would sell well, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Jake Curran says, since Apocalypse entered Krakoa and those birds swirled around him, Hawks Pox, I've thought he would be one of, if not the main villain of Hickman's run.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you caught the references. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Absolute Carnage came out.
It did.
The final issue 5 from Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman.
Yep.
This was a very short, very action-packed event, and it wraps up as you would expect, I guess.
Not really.
I mean, like, Eddie's kid finds out he's his dad.
Well, okay, yes.
Spider-Man gets a moment by himself. He doesn't get to team up with the others. You get a big splash moment you got several splash moments that refer to events that took place in tie-ins.
Mm-hmm.
You had one big Maximum Carnage reference where the entire team from Maximum Carnage sans Spider-Man was there, and I'm like, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of like crowd-pleasing character moments. Overall, basically, Carnage wants to usher in the awakening of Null. He succeeds because Venom is a jackass. The end. Like, it's very short, and it's like, I was like, oh my god, it ended on a cliffhanger to set up the next event. Screw you, I'm so angry.
Yeah,
like, I was so annoyed that it was, because like, literally they were like, don't do this one thing, or Null will wake up and it'll be the end of it. And he's like, screw you, I'm going to do it anyway. And he does. And it's like...
Right, but he does it to save the kid.
Right. And it's like, oh, yeah, but the writer put it that way so that it would happen that way.
I know.
But, like, it just set up that, like, Null is now coming. Now there'll be yet another event.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that Cates isn't going to have Null... Null was in the friggin' Silver Surfer mini he did.
Right.
Like, there's no way Null isn't going to be this, like... Secret Wars-esque massive event that Cates is probably concocting. And I feel like cheated that we didn't get a moment of an actual ending. We instead got, oh, more's coming!
Yeah.
That being said, I applaud them for 5 issues. Same writer, same artist, no bullshit. Just the story.
Mm-hmm.
The tie-ins all got to work on their own. You don't need them if you want to read the whole book.
Mm-hmm.
It's a successful event. It's everything I want out of an event, except that it dovetails into yet another event.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing, and it's like a 45% ding, but it's still like not the worst thing.
Right.
Plus, the art remains consistent.
Yeah.
Like, Stegman manages to keep it all together. Oh, also we find out that, like, Dylan has powers or something.
Yeah, he's got something. Yeah.
But we all knew that anyway.
Right.
But yeah. So, it was fine. At the end of the day, because of that, I wasn't like, oh, good for you. The other thing was, I don't know about you, because you read this too.
I did.
I was like, not, like, a lot goes on in terms of action, but not a lot really happens.
No.
And so it felt a little like, well, a little light.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a Carnage event, so it's supposed to not feel like deep and important.
Mm-hmm.
But, it just felt a little. It felt like empty calories.
Right. Well, and I think what doesn't help is because of the nature of the ending, it makes like the reveal of like the rest of the team showing up useless.
Totally.
It doesn't matter in the end.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Because of that ending, I was like, damn you. You couldn't even just put that in a tie-in or as a post-credits moment or something like that.
Yeah.
It's also like, there's no way Carnage is dead.
No.
I know he turned into a skeleton, but,
Right.
there's no way. But anyway. All right. That was that. That's all I want to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I find to be, like, weirdly, like, enjoyable or satisfying about this ending is the fact that, like, clearly Eddie knows and he doesn't tell anybody.
Right.
He's just like, okay,
I am going to pay for this.
maybe it'll just go away.
Right.
Like, that kind of attitude, and I think that is very him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end of the day, he really hasn't truly grown as a character.
No, but he does embrace Spider-Man.
Yes. And he obviously embraces the fact that he is now like known as like Dylan's father. You know what I mean? And so I guess it's baby steps for Eddie.
Sure. and he's gone in a real metamorphosis, so I'm like happy for him. But yeah. Kind of underwhelming. What else we got? You got some stuff. Let's get to him.
Oh, okay. You know what?
What?
Where do we want to go?
I don't know.
Where do I want to go?
You let me know.
Let's talk about Conan real quick.
Conan?
What,
the barbarian?
The barbarian.
Oh,
Look at
not
the
his savage sword.
No, not his savage sword. No, this is the Aaron run on Conan. This is the penultimate for Aaron on Conan.
Now, do you know, is it going to keep going?
I don't know if it's going to keep going, honestly. I haven't looked into it. I haven't jumped that far ahead. I've just been enjoying what Aaron's doing. Because I'm also afraid that, like, if I look too far ahead, I'll be spoiled as to how this is going to wrap up. So I didn't want to know. I don't want to know. I literally have just been enjoying the hell out of this story, and I'm just going to continue to enjoy the hell out of this story.
Fair.
This is part 11.
That sounds like a 12-issue mini to me.
Yeah, Conan the Barbarian, The Life and Death of Conan, part 11 by Crom.
Yay.
In the last issue, Conan died.
Yes.
Conan bled out by the children of the Blood Witch. And in this, he wakes up and he's back in his village. And like someone's talking to him and his parents are there.
Oh no.
And his mom's pregnant.
What?
Yeah. And they're like, and he's like, "What? Something's wrong. This isn't right."
Yeah, this is not how it works.
And they talk kind of about being like a Cimmerian, and like how like it's just like no, like we do all these things, like we hunt,
we are
and
badasses,
kill, and that's what we do is we live in the shadow of the mountain, and this is what we do here.
Right.
And he's just like, I have to go see the mountain, and they're like, "What are you doing? Don't leave." And so he starts to climb the mountain, and as he's climbing the mountain responds by throwing an avalanche at him. And the next time we see him, he's older. He was a boy then, and now he's like a man.
Youth.
Yes, he's a youth. He's the Conan we've been adventuring with oftentimes, depending on the various stories.
He does look younger. He looks like he's maybe like
it's probably
19.
Like, yeah, that kind of thing. And this time, like a saber-toothed cat is
no.
thrown at him, and he fights it, and it inevitably like kills him and eats him. And he comes back, and he's slightly older.
Oh.
And this time, like, he's struck down by lightning. At one point, he's killed by carrion birds. He's killed by an elk. And eventually, he gets to the top of the mountain, and he's an older Conan with a beard, and, not quite King Conan.
Not King Conan.
But an older Conan. And he comes there, and there's, like a circle of stones and, like, swords all there. And someone starts talking. And, like, in the sky, like a godly voice.
I think we know who that is.
Yeah, saying the others came to leave their swords as offerings out of respect, but not you. And, like, he's like, who's there? Show yourself. And Conan really gives him some crap, and then finally, like, Crom shows up. And Crom's like, Conan, think about it for, like, a hot second. If you're here, it means you died. That's right, Conan, you died.
It's over.
Those little kids bled you out. And then Conan, like, thinks about all the ways he could have died. Mm-hmm. And then he just starts laughing. And like, Crom's like, you're weird.
You're weird, Conan.
You're weird. I don't understand it. And, like, he's just like, well, there you go. You're dead. Whatever. And like, Conan's like, what will happen to the living world? What will happen to, like, my kingdom and all that? And then he's just like, Razazel will, like, take over for a few eons. And then, like, I don't know. Crom, I don't care. Someone else will deal with it. Some other god will deal with it. And Conan just starts throwing swords at him. And he's just like, listen, I was a king. I was, like of the greatest kingdom. My kingdom was the best. I had the best kingdom. # best kingdom.
Right.
And he's just like, and you don't care? Like, literally, like, your people are going to die. And you don't care.
No, I'm a crappy god.
Right? And he's just like, listen, if they were those, like, my people, then, like...
They wouldn't lose.
They already had the spark to fight.
Right.
In their guts. Like, that's what I put in there.
Yeah.
And Conan's like, you know what? I never prayed to you, not even once.
Right.
Just like what you wanted. And he's like, well, don't start now. And he's like, I'm not gonna. So then, like, Conan basically fights Crom.
Okay.
Right? And
that's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, and, like, so he just takes him on, and Crom pulls out, like, a big sword, and he blasts him with, like... energy of some sort or ice like out of his face hole, and it turns Conan into an old like ragged man like we've never seen him.
That's
before.
Awesome.
He's like this. He's almost like a sage Conan at this point, and like he's just like there. Now you go away, and he's like, no, I will. I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah.
So he takes up his sword again and he like has at it, and Crom's like, fine. You want that so bad? okay, Conan, I curse you.
Oh no.
And he's like, I'm going to send you back, but eventually you're going to grow old and you're going to like wither and your strength will fail you.
Yeah.
And like you'll see your glory grow dim and you'll see yourself fade. Like essentially he'll never have a warrior's death is kind of what you get out of this.
Right.
And he's like, and at the end of the day, you're going to wish you just stayed here. And he sends him back.
Mm-hmm.
And then Conan is like, all right, as we see like Razazel like crawling out of this hole and like the blood children are like getting all like, you know, like empowered and disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Conan's like, okay, let's do it. And like he's younger than he was as King Conan.
Oh.
And Conan's ready. He's ready to go.
Nice.
And we're gonna see how it goes. It's also badass because he literally has 2 swords just in his chest, and he's like, I assume he's gonna pull them out and then skewer these children.
He is totally gonna do that.
So I'm excited. Like, it's badass. So like, Aaron is delivering on every conceivable level. Like, Conan is so like has like grown as a character within the scope of the story.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where it's like it was about the battle and it was about like the warrior's death kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now it's about like going back and kind of finishing what he started and saving the kingdom. Like he's learned that kind of responsibility.
Right.
And at the risk of never getting that.
Yeah.
What you wanted.
That's cool.
Like, glory. So I was like,
okay.
I'm down. I'm excited. So
that sounds great.
I am sad that issue 12
Aaron's
will be
leaving.
the end of this. But it was such a good run that like I really can't be that mad.
It's not the end.
No.
Jim Zub's taking over.
That's fine, and it'll be good because Zub is.
Because he's always wanted it.
Well, here's the thing: Zub has a passion for Conan that
Like no other.
Like no other, exactly. Zub tells a story a little differently, and what I liked was like Aaron's like character study of the different lives or times in Conan's life.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I truly enjoyed about this.
Right.
Because obviously Aaron also has a passion for story and an enjoyment of Conan. But what we'll get from Zub is more of a classic Conan from a guy who read the original books and, you know, was a big fan of the Roy Thomas like comics. So
Yes.
like it's gonna be great.
Yeah. No doubt.
But like I'm truly loving what Aaron has done.
Yeah. Mr. Supertastic says the love most have for Marvel I have for DC, and I miss loving DC. Bad stories fine, but I feel like Snyder's slowly but surely killing every part of his lore and putting Marvel into. Both have strengths, but they're different. I don't know what that means.
You don't even try.
You mean like he's killing it? Like he's doing a great job?
No.
What do you mean
Bad story is
he's
fine, but I
destroying
feel
the
like,
lore?
Yeah, killing every part of his lore. Like he's like Snyder built up all of this lore, and then he's
Oh,
just kind of
right.
like,
Well, let me just wreck it all down.
Yeah.
Well, but you can never undo Perpetua now.
yeah,
She will have always been, and she will always be stupid.
yeah,
That's too bad. I mean, like, listen, I like DC too. You know, I grew up as a Marvel kid, but I did love DC. And I find there's a lot to love about DC. I think that, you know, Scott's got stuff going on. He has strengths and weaknesses like anybody.
yeah.
So I'm hopeful that we'll see some more greatness from him and a resurgence of the DC, you know, lore that you enjoy so much. Kane's World says, I heard this was the donation train. All aboard, choo choo. Thank you very much, Kane, man.
Woo, no,
Really
thank
appreciate
you.
it. That's
Thank
very
you,
kind.
Thank you
so much for your generosity. But yeah, before we move on, I just wanted to say this is the episode 300. So you know we're celebrating. Hashtag Batman. You get one of these. Enter only if you want to win, and tell me where you live so I can make you get it.
Yes.
Coco Mill sent us a sticker of a fox showing its love for us. Thank you very much, Coco, for using the stickers. That's a lot of fun.
That's so cute.
Be careful with don't spam everything with them, but like if you want to use the stickers, feel free.
Yeah, but be careful. Is it a fox or is it a Shiba?
I think it's a Shiba.
I think it's a Shiba. Shiba scream.
Really quick, I just want to touch upon 2099 Alpha number 1.
Yeah, do that, because I kind of flipped through it, but
Yeah.
I didn't commit to the reading.
No, you shouldn't have. 2099 Alpha is written by Nick Spencer with art by Viktor Bogdanovic. The art is great, and that's it. It's a previews book, so, you know, basically it shouldn't have cost anything, but it did. Like, it was a real comic. And so it just kind of shows you the world of 2099 as told by Nick Spencer. There's like images and references to stuff that you might remember from 2099. It's the same problem I have with every 2099 book after 1997. And it is that people like what 2099 looks like, but don't want to do the things they were doing. And like, I appreciate that because not everything from 2099 was great. Ravage, Hulk, Punisher, Ghost Rider, really anything other than Spider-Man and Doom, which is the thing to work, like, which is the things that are in this book for the most part. Ultimately, the world 2019, 2020 doesn't really, I don't know, work for cyberpunk anymore. Like, cyberpunk is what inspired 2099, and it allows 2099 to be like its grit, to be gritty and weird and dark, and you know, nowadays, like, you know, it's not going to work. Like, it's not even that it's not going to be that future, but it's like, I don't think the writers today have the head for cyberpunk the way that they used to.
That could be. I mean, like, you can't say that it can't work anymore because there's literally a game coming out.
I know. Called that.
I know, and people are ridiculously excited for it, but it could just be, like you said, like the writers are not prepared to craft that kind of world, because I think it definitely takes a very specific writer to understand what makes cyberpunk work.
Agreed. I don't think Spencer has it.
Okay.
But Victor Bogdanovic does, because the art is legitimately good. And I'm not just speaking from the perspective of he's drawn my comic Garth Kirby, the
right.
Gods, but he's so good, and he gets better every new book. He's also going to draw Wolverine.
I know,
and I can't wait because
he tweeted an image from this issue.
Yeah,
and like I did flip through to see it in full color, and I was like, wow,
the Watcher.
Yeah,
I was really hopeful that like the use of Watcher in this was actually going to be like a harbinger of bringing back Uatu in like the main universe. Not so. Maybe they'll like pull him from 2099 and put him into the present or something.
Yeah.
But in any event, you know, Doom is Doom. It's just kind of like, it does not hold my attention at all.
Right.
Like at all. And it's one of the first times in a long time that I read a comic and then and I didn't know how far along I was, but like literally 2 pages before it ended, I had to stop and I did something else. And I came back and was like, let's finish this thing. Oh, it only had 2 pages left. Like, it was really boring.
Oh.
And so, like, it's a great looking comic. I think that 2009, that world has legs. And I think that you need to give it to people you need to Vertigo that shit. Like, you need to find people who are like, I'm going to tell this really messed up thing, and I'm going to use the visuals from Ron Lim's X-Men 2099 and just do that.
Yeah,
I
mean,
like you got to do something that it can't be a standard superhero comic.
No, you know what they should have possibly done is just brought in like a couple of actual science fiction cyberpunk writers, not to necessarily write the books, but to consult.
Yeah, like here's what the story is.
Like the writers who are working on the books themselves, like write what they were thinking about doing, and then have them take a look at it and be like, okay, you want to make this fit a little bit more in cyberpunk? Here are some thoughts.
Right. But otherwise, meh. I would say skip it. I would say absolutely you don't need this. But like, if you want to help out Vic, buy Wolverine.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Because he's going to be doing that
super talented,
and he is great. It's like if you want Capullo, but a little bit more like rough,
right?
And not like rough, like not refined, but more like, I don't know. His pencils are more like, you know, there's more grit to him. Marauders number 2.
You wanna, all right, yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. What?
I was gonna say I got 3 more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's talk about Once in Future.
Yay, Once in Future.
God, I love
the
this
origin
book.
Thing, right?
It's so good.
I know.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not like
what?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
They said it was going to be an origin.
No, they said it was going to talk a little bit more about family, and it definitely did.
Well, at the end of the day, this is a book about family.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. That's what I said, and he agreed.
Yeah.
And he agreed.
I know.
Anyway, Once in Future. Remember last time we left? Gran and Duncan, and Gran had her sniper rifle out.
Yes.
She was gonna take down Galahad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Duncan doesn't go for that. He shifts his shoulder so she can't take the shot because he's not down with that. Mm-hmm. While she's aiming her shot up, we hear them chatting about how like it will be Galahad's job to find the Grail. But how will he find the Grail? Well, he needs a Fisher King, the maimed Fisher King.
Okay.
Now, again, I'm sure if I was really up on my Arthurian lore, this would all mean a lot to me, but it doesn't necessarily. But that doesn't mean that I lose the way or my understanding of what's happening, again, because Gillen is trying to educate us to some degree on what Arthurian lore is all about. And so Bridget or Gran knows exactly what that means. She's like, crap, goes take a shot. Duncan moves. Immediately, the knights, his other knights, try to get them. They pass out of the church. Remember, they had his date from earlier in the book there as a historian.
Right.
And she has a candle. And remember, she's not supposed to let that go out. Mm-hmm. A couple of cops show up. They're like, what are you doing? She's like, you holding a vigil? And she's like, well, you see, I can't let this go out. And so they make it out. And they're both armed, obviously. Yep. And the cops are like,
Yeah.
First of all, where did you come from? Second of all, no.
Right.
So they pull their weapons on everybody. Mm-hmm. And the knights show up and dispatch the cops, so they're totally cool.
Right.
And then she snuffs the candle, and they get sent back. The knights get sent back.
Cool.
So they're good. They're hopping a car. They're off their way to go find the Fisher King, because they know that that's where they have to go for Galahad to go and locate the Grail.
Yeah.
They get a little information about that, about how, what's her name? I never remember what the girl's name is. Rose. And how she is not really a secretary as much as she's like James Bond's M. She's the one that gives the missions, that kind of thing.
Right.
And, she's like, remember M and how he used to blah, blah, blah. And then Rose updates her. She's like, M's a woman now.
Not anymore.
Well, in the time period of, I guess, referring to the Judi Dench.
Yes. But they just, Skyfall, she's out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Gran's because she hasn't been keeping up.
Right. Yeah, you'd have loved it.
You would have dug it the most, Gran. But anyway, they're like, we gotta go. Galahad's grandfather would have, being maimed means that he was shot in the crotch.
Oh no.
Right? Or it would have, and they talk about being made, a Galahad being made. How can you make a person?
Yeah.
And that, Elaine is Galahad's mom, and, so she must have found a Lancelot to get her pregnant.
Right.
And so, they're like, okay. And, Gran's like, I don't know where she found one, but she found one. Mm-hmm. So the fact is, we've got a problem.
Yeah.
So regardless of that, they leave Rose outside, or they're going to. And then, the sky shifts colors, which means that, the knights are there, or that, a portal has been opened up.
Right.
So they all just go tearing into the house, and, literally, Gran just starts, yelling into the house, hey, we don't have time for this crap. There's an old man there, and he's just like, Bridget, would you just shut up?
Oh, no.
And then, Gran starts firing into the wall, and, Duncan's like, what are you doing? He's like, listen, we don't have time for this. We have to find the Grail, okay? And if he's dead, then they can't find the Grail.
Right.
So, knights show up. They all make a break for it. Galahad is there. He's protected. And he shows up, and he goes to the old man, and he's like, it's basically are you the gatekeeper, or I'm the keymaster kind of thing.
Right.
And he's like, I'm Galahad. And he's like, I'm the Fisher King. And he's just like, so, let me know what you find.
Right.
Galahad goes through a door. He finds the castle where the Grail is being kept. And Gran's like, okay, cool. Duncan's like, I feel like these hairs staying on the back of my neck. She's like, oh, that's the call of destiny, hun. It's
cool.
fine. That's what those tingles mean. And so essentially she's like, all right, now we have to go find the Grail. And we discover that the old man who's there was Bridget's husband.
Oh, no. What?
So, yeah. So eventually, he's just like, hey, what's your middle name, Duncan?
Uh-huh.
He's like, Percy. He's like, Percival.
Right.
He's like, Gran made you as another Grail finder.
Oh, jeez.
So, obviously, I'm not going to let you do that. And then he blows his brains out.
Oh.
Because, he's the Fisher King. He's not going to let them follow him. He wanted to change, what England was and what Britain was. And he wanted to bring back Arthur as well. And so he bought into all of that.
Okay.
And, she's like, I never agreed with that. You're an idiot kind of thing. So, they had their Galahad, and she created a Percival. And so now they're going to have to find another way to find the Grail. And I'm like, Gran, I like you. What game you playing? She's got the long game going here.
Yeah, definitely.
So again, I can't talk about how good this book is enough. It is literally, it was the same length as any other comic, but it reads so fast.
Yeah.
Because the pacing is just exquisite.
Right, and the art is so fluid. You just easily. So, but you shouldn't, because each page panels are great.
It's a treat.
Yeah.
It's a treat. So go check it out. Once and Future. Awesome Arthurian action film that you're never going to see.
Yep. Whoever's drawing this, they're going to get scooped up.
Dan Mora?
Yeah. Oh, Dan Mora. Yeah, that's right. He's good.
He's been working with Boom since Klaus.
I mean,
so.
Marvel and DC is going to scoop him up.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Travis Hamilton says, can't stay. Just wanted to drop by. Have a great rest of your day. You too, Travis. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having an awesome Thanksgiving. Jake Curran helping us out again. Thank you very much, Jake. Really, really appreciate it. Joe D, happy Thanksgiving to my favorite YouTube channel. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, man. Thank you so much. Vidal Ruiz says, so I want a shirt of a Toon Sal of him saying, yeah. No. Lol, I don't know why that sticks out to me, but yeah, here's more money. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're working on new shirts, actually, so keep an eye out. But if you're interested, by the way, I think below these videos we have them over on Teespring, but if you go to tpublic.com/store/ComicPOP, you'll find it there.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of, like, ComicPOP shirts if you want them, but, like, no obligation. I don't make a lot of money off those. It's more just, we want you to have shirts that say our logo on them.
Yeah.
But we don't, our percentage is like a 100th of a percent.
It's fine.
Joram Greenwell says, Sal, you got my back in a comics. Thank you.
Aww.
Thank you, man. That means so much to me. And, like, I'm so glad you're back. It's a weird time, but I'm glad that you found things that you are passionate about and that you're digging. So welcome back, man. BM Gray, this chat's the most supportive I've ever seen it. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a better 2020 Comic Pop. Thank you very much, BM Gray.
Thank you.
Me too. I really appreciate you too as well. But thank you so much for your contribution. We really appreciate it. And also for your kind support. Felix Nolasco. Should Snyder do a book for Hill House? He would be great in that. I worry that he doesn't want to be pigeonholed. He's like, no, I was a horror writer, but now I'm this.
I got a hot take on that one. I don't know if he could handle it.
Yeah. I think, honestly...
And I say that because he wrote Witches, and it could have ended with Volume 1. He was like, no, I'm going to do a Volume 2. And then he just never did. He did, like, that middle ground, like, bad egg thing.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Yeah, very fine.
But, like, here's the thing. Like, you have people like Mike Carey, you have people like Joe Hill, and they're, like, they're horror writers.
Yes.
Like, that's what they do.
Yeah.
I would love to see him do it. I just don't know if it would be the strongest one, to be honest with you. I'm sure it would be the best-selling one.
Oh, yeah.
Because Scott Snyder's name is on it. But...
Yeah. I think that he would never do it because he wouldn't be able to take 100% of the proceeds and leverage it into a movie or TV deal.
No, it's true.
He'd be like, why would I do that when I could just get Image to do it for me? And then I own it all. Like, why would I ever do that? That's DC. They own that. No, forget it.
No, my concern is that I'm not even concerned, but, like, my
yeah, but he couldn't keep
would
up.
Be that, like, well, not even he wouldn't keep up, but, like, I think he told his horror story.
Right. Yeah, probably. Mr. Supertastic, yay! For once in future.
Yeah,
yay.
It's such a good comic.
Yeah, moving on to Noir. What do you got?
Oh, yeah, we could do something real quick. Something is killing the children. Continues to be spectacular. We learn a little bit more about Erica. We get the feeling that, like, obviously, like, there is something bigger,
right,
like, going on with her. The brother of one of the kids who was killed is going to become a little more involved. He's very upset with Erica. He thinks she must have done it. He thinks the kid's involved as well. Of course,
yeah.
But, like, inevitably, like, she gets arrested.
Oh no.
And they are
crap.
Yeah. Well, they're interrogating her, and eventually she just starts asking them questions.
Oh,
and he's
cool.
just like, "Are you interrogating me?" Like,
right.
She gives him a license, and he's just like, "Your name's Erica Slaughter." He's like, "First of all, this is printed on a piece of paper."
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "That's my license."
Yeah.
That's cool. Just take it.
Jesus.
But she starts, like, being like, okay, where, like, we know all the kids who were killed, but what about, who's the first kid who was taken that you thought was just missing and hasn't turned up yet?
Right.
Because that's the one I need to know about. That's how I'm going to stop this.
Okay.
And he's just like, what is this? I'm the cop.
Yeah.
You're my, like, prisoner here. Like,
right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And she's like, here's the thing. You're going to get a call from somebody, and then you're going to let me go. And that's just how it's going to be. And, like, I'm going to stop this.
Right.
And then he's like, I don't think so. So they're going to go take her and, like, put her in another like holding cell because
Okay.
like she's gonna be charged with being drunk.
Okay.
And then a guy comes in and he's like, hey, they just found like 5 more bodies and like there's still like blood spurting out of them.
Ugh.
So there's no way she did it.
Right.
And inevitably he's like they're gonna continue to arrest her and he's like, can you stop this? She's like, yeah. Like I'm the only one who can.
Yeah.
It's like she can't explain why. He asks her why, that kind of thing, and then he lets her go. Tells someone to tail her, basically.
Right.
She meets up with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then starts talking to her octopus again, and he like asks about it. She gets a little freaked out about that.
Right.
And then they go off and like try to find where the first kid was because like she recognizes that like basically whatever this thing is, she thought it was like this level thing, but it's obviously a higher level like entity, and that it's getting daring. It's becoming less afraid of being found out.
Right.
And so she's like, I haven't fought anything this like intense in a while.
Cool.
So like we're gonna have a problem, I think.
Okay.
So like it's just cool because like Tynan's playing the long game. We definitely get a little bit of like gory stuff at the beginning of the book. We always get like those little like tastes of like the horror elements of it, while also just establishing that like Erica's the kind of character who's obviously been around some crap before. There's something a little off about her, whether it be something magical or alien or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to finding out, and I like Tynan's pace of revealing information to us.
Totally.
Also, the art's awesome.
And the art's awesome.
Yeah.
Marauders #2 from Jerry Duggan and Matteo Lally is out.
Yo-ho.
Yo-ho, A Pirate's Life for everybody. Emma Frost and Sebastian Shaw bitch at each other for the entire book, and then Kitty's revealed at the end. Yay! Next book. Okay. Lest anyone accuse me of being like a curmudgeon or a stick in the mud, Hawks and Pox were amazing. And it was like, holy crap. These things were like big and bombastic, and you know, the art was unbelievable, and the promise and the concept behind them all was so like just incredible. And now we've got X-Men, X-Force, Marauders, Excalibur, all these books, and there's literally something for everybody. New Mutants, like there's so many books. They got a space book, a pirate book, espionage book, the X-Men book, where everyone acts like a moron, and like soon to be there's a Wolverine and whatnot. But like I've noticed, and there's a pervasive sentiment among the online community at least, and it might be a vocal minority, but I've noticed that compared to Hawks and Pox, a lot of these are pretty underwhelming.
That's fair.
And as I understand it, it's kind of deliberate. Like that Hickman's like directive is kind of like, this is the calm before the storm. These are just kind of getting you acclimated with like who the players are, what their world is, what their worlds are before they get disrupted.
Right.
So with that in mind, it allows me to kind of compartmentalize and understand what these series are trying to do, which is because they're not all ongoing. So they're all going to be like wrapped up, and they're going to tell their tale. And then they're going to be part of like the rest of the story for X-Men. So when I'm like about like Marauders being like this really boring comic book, which it was, I understand that it's really not like supposed to be as like as like Hawks and Pox were, because this is supposed to be like, hey, here's some X-Men, here's what they're doing, this is the world they live in now. And so it's world building, it's more world building, and but more with a more like leisure tone. And so I really appreciate them doing that.
Okay. See, I didn't find it to be boring.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed the, like game that, like, Emma was playing with Sebastian, even though he thought he maybe understood the depth of the game.
Totally.
But, like, he was like...
Yeah, he was playing checks. He was playing checkers, she's playing chess.
I was gonna say, he was playing Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah, she was playing chess.
Like,
exactly.
Like, no, and so, like, I enjoyed the intrigue of that, and how, like, inevitably she will probably be taken down by something, you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
But, like, I was really just like, this is fantastic.
Right.
You know?
They also get a new boat. It's much nicer.
Yeah.
And Pyro gets a grotesque face tattoo.
Well, you know, what's nice about that is that, like, when he dies and comes back, he won't have it.
Right. And, of course, what we said, I think a month or two ago, happened. Kitty Pryde's the Red Queen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, she accepted that, didn't she, in the last one?
I think so. But, well, if she did, then why did they do this big reveal?
Because she accepted it from Emma. Emma had asked...
Right, but this is her revealed in the council. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ta-da. I also found Kitty Pryde insufferable in this issue. And
Really?
I gotta tell you, at first I was like, what like, why?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Hi.
I was like, why? Like what? And then I remembered that she's always been insufferable. Like, there's never been a time when Kitty Pryde wasn't like a pain in the ass.
I enjoyed this issue, but again, like, I liked the back and forth.
Right.
And I liked it paired against what Kitty was doing, because obviously it was all tied in. Like, Emma, like, okay, so Sebastian has been not keeping up with his end of the bargain.
No.
Like, he's supposed to really just be running the black market for the Krakoan drugs.
Yeah, and he's not.
And he's not. He's not only doing that, he's then taking that stuff, which is supposed to be going to the black market, like, in countries where they've made the deal.
Yeah.
Instead, he's selling it to other countries who have either declined it, I guess, or who just are paying more.
Right.
So they're not going where they're meant to go, even though it's, like, on the black market regardless.
Yeah.
And Batrock's involved with it. Which
I love that.
Batrock?
Yeah. It's nice to see it.
He's leaping all over the place in this. He's leaping right off the page. And into our hearts. He's not. But I liked that going on, and then it turns out that, like, that's his boat, and
Yes.
like Batrock was taking the drugs elsewhere, and then he tries to, like, be
Parlay,
like, yeah, he's like, hey, let's parlay. Kitty, why don't we just take these someplace else? We'll split the money.
Yeah,
It'll
exactly.
be fine.
She's like, nope.
She's like, no. And they basically just sink the boat.
Yeah, and then Strand hit. Well, the Coast Guard's coming to get him.
Yeah, which is fine, because it's like, they're like, no, we already sent another boat where it was supposed to go.
Right.
So screw you.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Right, so, like, that's going on as, like, Emma's unveiling or, like, revealing how much she knows about what he's been doing.
Yes.
And that, like, he has an individual he wants as the Red Queen. And I love that, like, she's like, it's just,
I wonder what poor floozy that he's been betting,
yeah,
like, thinks that she's about to be, like the Red
yeah,
Queen. But
exactly. I was like, it's just...
that means that there's a character. That means that there is someone someone you know.
It could have been, or
I think it is. I think it's going to be, like, you're going to be like, oh, who's... Like, I think there's going to be, like, a contention for the Red Queen seat.
I guess there could be. But, like, regardless of that, like, I really liked the pace of this book and just how, like Shaw's entire plan unraveled, like, in front of him in this meeting. So,
Yeah.
I dug it.
It was, yeah. I recognize the value.
Yeah.
Taylor Pesher says, am I the only one who thought the coloring in the Marauders is just not very good? The actual line works fine, but the coloring makes everything muddy. I didn't find it muddy. I wouldn't say muddy, but I definitely, I thought it was very by the numbers. There was nothing special about what this book looks like.
I could see that.
Sado Thani back says, how dare you, Marauders? It was great. It won me the bet with Dan. Well, that's fair. I'm sorry, man. I thought it was fine. It's just I was like, meh. Like, I don't care about pirates, as it turns out.
But I liked it.
But you liked it, yeah. Well, and I recognize that it's good. It was just not for me, you know. But I again, I'm just like, meh. I liked it more than the other one, Excalibur.
I like them both.
I know. But yeah,
Pirates and Dragons.
It explains why I'm not the biggest X-Men fan, I guess, because I'm just like, hey, X-Men, I'm going. Oh, all right, I'm out. But thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What was it? Mr. Supertastic. I like Kate's new look, but unsure about the tattoos. Yeah, I thought that was so stupid. The tattoo thing. I'm like,
well, she gets her tattoo is, I think it's Lockheed, right? It's a little.
No, it's she has.
Oh,
like,
right.
words.
No. Wow. Where did I get that?
I don't know.
That she got like a little. Wow. I made it
Lockheed?
out that she got like a little Lockheed like line drawing.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah. No. And Pyro's tattoo, I didn't see as like a racial thing. I just saw it as being a dumbass.
Right. Well, it's weird because now he's like Ghost Rider.
Yeah, because he's got the flaming skull.
Yeah. I
So stupid.
Yeah, like literally I was like, are you trying to be Ghost Rider?
Right? Because
Maybe.
don't.
He's like, maybe Pyro's just a huge Ghost Rider fan. He's like, he's badass.
Yeah. I doubt it. He didn't mention it.
I know.
He-Man, the Masters of the Multiverse came out.
Yeah.
If you like He-Man, you're going to love this. If you don't know who He-Man is, don't read this book.
Oh.
It is I don't know. Who is this for?
Tim Seeley.
It's so silly. Yeah, Tim Seeley, Dan Fraga. This is the most, like, I don't know, like Crisis on Infinite Eternias. That's what this is. Eternia's threatened. It's screwed up. It's Spider-Verse, but He-Man.
Okay.
That.
There's a lot of He-Man show up.
not a lot of He-Mans, but like 3 He-Mans.
Oh, right, no, but they have to go find the Skeletor before you're Skeletor.
Yes, exactly.
Which I can't remember what his name was.
So Skeletor is going to be like the hero again, because who better to fight like
will he
an
become
AWOL
Skeletor
He-Man?
at the end of it?
Of course. Yeah. No, he will.
As a result of his heroism?
Yeah. But
Does he believe in Christmas?
You got like a toy He-Man. You got like you got the movie Dolph Lundgren He-Man. Gwildor shows up. It is ridiculous.
They have toy He-Man?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. So if you like He-Man, you're gonna love this. If you don't know who He-Man is or you don't care, you're not gonna enjoy.
I got a pitch for you. Since Aaron's not gonna be writing Thor or Conan anymore.
Yeah.
When is Aaron gonna jump on the He-Man bandwagon?
I don't know.
Write some like deep dives about Eternian lore.
I would love that. I would just take a 1-to-1 of Conan but He-Man, where it's like old man He-Man, he's got this job, he's tired, and
King He-Man.
King He-Man.
King Adam.
King Adam. That's what I would call it. It's a great idea. If you're interested in Skeletor, he has Skeletor is Loki in this book. So if you like Loki, that's who he is.
I'm telling you, this could work.
Yeah, no, Aaron would love it. You read Deadpool?
I did read Deadpool.
I didn't read Deadpool. Does it reference the other guys? Does it reference any of the Hickman stuff?
I don't. What do you mean?
Is he in any way connected to
Krakoa?
to Krakoa or what
no!
they're doing? Of course.
This
not.
book is for me.
Oh, good.
This is written by Kelly Thompson with art by Chris Bocciolo.
Yay!
And it involves Chris Bocciolo drawing like those black and white tentacly things that he drew in Doctor Strange, because Deadpool's fighting the King of Monsters.
What?
And then Elsa Bloodstone shows up.
What?
I love you, Kelly Thompson.
Oh my god.
I love you so much.
Or is it the same exact thing? Like those tentacles
No,
look
it's just
exactly,
that's what he's drawing.
Those look just like the ones from his Aaron run.
What he's drawing.
Oh my god.
Literally, here's what happens. Deadpool, gets his ass kicked by a monster, and then he's like, hey, you want to know how I wound up here kind of thing?
Uh-huh.
It was his birthday. He got a job. He didn't want to take it because he had to go to Staten Island, and he was obviously not going to go there.
Ugh.
So he tries to celebrate his birthday. He kidnaps the postman to have someone to hang out with him. It's like the saddest birthday ever for Deadpool. I'm like, aw.
Yeah.
So then inevitably he decides, you know what? I'll just go do it. He also makes reference to Willie Lumpkin.
Okay.
And again, how he's just like, Carl, you would have been better if you were Willie Lumpkin. He's cooler.
Okay.
Carl's like,
not gonna argue.
Yeah, right. So Blaylock hires him to go kill the King of the Monsters, they've laid claim to Staten Island. All the monsters I should say.
Mm-hmm.
There's zombies wandering around. There's all kinds of monsters. He's gonna pay him in gold. Deadpool's like, right on.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, I gotta go kill the King of the Monsters. He runs into a different monster by the name of Bellis. He's the Chamberlain for the King of Monsters. And so, he's like, I'm not a big fan of him, so, go for it.
Right.
Elsa shows up, Deadpool, hits on her a little bit because he's Deadpool.
Yep.
They essentially team up. They go to take down the King of the Monsters. She's like, this is going pretty well. He's like, don't say that. And then immediately, the next time we see them, it is not going well for them.
Yep.
The King of the Monsters is going to eat Elsa. And so Deadpool, saves her.
Okay.
And he eventually says, he earlier says that he's going to, shove all of his grenades down, the monster's throat.
Mm-hmm.
And the monster ends up eating one of his arms. And, he's just she's like, are you okay? And he's like, well, you see, that arm had all my grenades. Right. And he's like, and yet I keep all the pins in this hand.
That's fun.
And so, it explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes a comment earlier about how something about her being silicon because of her appearance.
Right.
And she's on top of him at one point, and he's like, oh, are you hitting on me? And she's like, no, and by the way, nothing about me is silicone. And he's like, no, you like me.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? And then she leaves, and it turns into freaking Chronicles of Riddick, because you keep what you kill. He killed the King of the Monsters. He's the King of the Monsters now, and he's like, okay, cool. That means I'm gonna get the babes and all this other stuff, right? And they're like, no,
you get monsters.
You have to do all this work. And so all these monsters show up because they're trying to get them to leave Staten Island. Some of them come to give gifts. This big snowman shows up and is like, blah, and gives him snow, and he's like, okay. And then some people have disputes and stuff, and he's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Everything sucks and I hate it.
I'm gonna leave.
Right? And then, like, the old King of the Monsters guard shows up, and it's a few monsters that we've seen before, like Zurgo and others, and Bun Bun the Destroyer.
Oh, no.
And then there's Chet.
Who?
Chet.
Okay.
He's a human. He's one of the human representatives.
Oh, all right.
Staten Island. He's like, hey, I'm Chet. And basically, like, this, like, wolf man gives, like, Deadpool a hard time, and he's just like, oh, like, do you feel bad because, like, you weren't here, blah, blah, and he's like, we were sent away for whatever, and he's just like, oh, all right, well... Fine. Anyway, like, I guess you're my guard now, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So inevitably, like, I think he has to go deal with another issue with a fairy and some more tentacle things, where he runs into Gwenpool.
Oh.
Who's like, hey, could you, like, take my little, like, shark pet thing?
Oh, Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff. Because, and, like, and again, because we're dealing with Deadpool and Gwenpool, she's like, the reasoning for this is because, like, this book seems like it might be safe. Because, like, my books keep getting canceled, and I don't want anything to happen to Jeff. I don't want him to be forgotten or lost. So, like, could you take him so that, like, he can live on?
Okay.
I was like, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
And so then she leaves. And, like, he's like, cool. So then Deadpool's like, you know, Jeff, yeah, like, yesterday was my birthday, and, like, nobody even called.
Right.
Like, at all.
Aw.
And I was like, aw. And he's like, anyway, all right, buddy, let's go. And he tries to, like, you know, get Jeff some ice cream.
Uh-huh.
He's like, do you have any meat-flavored ice cream? Ice cream is like, no.
No.
So now Jeff is in this, and
Okay.
that's kind of funny, I guess. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, Bellis goes home to his new house in Staten Island, because they haven't quite left Staten Island yet.
Yeah.
And he turns around, and, like, there's a power outage, or there's no power in his apartment, or his house, I should say, and he turns around and he's like, is there someone there?
Oh, no.
And a spear comes out of nowhere and slays him.
What?
And it turns out it's Craven.
Oh, Greg will be excited. Is it, like, does he reference the fact that he's new Craven, or does he just act like Craven?
He says it'll be a perfect monster hunting ground for Craven the Hunter to prove his worth.
Okay.
And so, presumably, it is the new Craven looking to make a name for himself. It's funny earlier, too, because, like, when Deadpool's trying to, like, think about, like, a council or some guards for himself, he's like, oh, maybe we should bring Elsa here. And
Yeah.
literally every monster gasps.
Oh, no!
And they're like, he's like, no.
No?
No,
You don't like that idea?
That's a bad idea. So, this was right up my alley. Kelly Thompson's writing has a definite snark and sarcasm to it.
Right.
And I think it's really good that she's given books where that fits.
Yeah.
We saw a little bit of her Deadpool when it came to Rogue and Gambit, and I really dug it. So I'm excited for this. Like I said, like, I dig her work. I like her dives. And again, I think her voice works well for Deadpool in particular.
Yeah.
And I love Botchalo's art, personally.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Those who maybe were put off on his Strange run, I gotta tell you, the guy really upped his game as Strange went on, and I think it's even better here. And I think it has more of that, like, kind of comic book feel with his own, like, edge to it.
Yeah.
So it's not so, like, off-putting, I would say.
Cool.
I think it just really works for this book. I can't wait for issue 2 of this. I've never been excited really about a Deadpool book.
No.
But this is awesome. And obviously Deadpool has history with monsters.
Right.
And, yeah, so I look forward to seeing what other dives Kelly gives us.
Cool. StarkMad91 says, please do back issues on Terminator versus RoboCop Kill Human. No.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I have it, and I've read it, and I hate it. And the last Terminator episode didn't do very well. The RoboCop versus Terminator did well, but that was back when everybody was doing well. So, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. But you can take solace in knowing that if I ever did do it, I would talk about how crappy it was.
Yeah. Oh, before we get into the next one, don't forget we also read, we don't have it here because we have a physical copy of it. We read the Mr. Freeze, or Baron Von Freeze.
Oh, yeah.
Book by Sean Murphy.
Yep, Gordon Murphy, yeah.
And it was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. It just tells very briefly tell you that it tells the story of Victor Freeze in this universe.
In the White Knight universe, which means that he's like a German scientist from World War II?
Yeah, his dad was.
Yeah, his dad was.
His dad was, and it tells the story of, like, what happened to him and his family and how it turned out that, like, look, his dad and Nora's dad, Nora's dad was Jewish, and obviously Victor's dad was German.
Right.
But they were one was a scientist, one was a doctor, and they were really into cryotechnology, and they thought that could really save a whole lot of people. And so even prior to like Hitler's election, essentially. Like there's like, you know, obviously anti-Semitism like going on there, and like they're just like, no, we're just gonna keep going, we're gonna work together, we're gonna show them that it can work, that kind of thing. They have a lot of hope that like their business in particular can, you know, make it.
Right.
When things start falling apart, they move all of Nora's family into the lab where they work, and they kind of keep them there, but they keep working together. Right. Inevitably, as the German forces are looking at in different directions, you know, magic, you know, supernatural, all that kind of stuff, they look to the cryotechnology to see if they can't make freeze guns, that kind of thing. Yeah. And it is like impressed upon Freeze that would be the best idea. Okay. That he should do that. Meanwhile, Victor is growing up, and he doesn't have much of a home life. Like he always goes into the lab and tries to like emulate what his dad is doing, because he's like, that way he'll pay attention to me. Oh. And like he'll end up like ruining things or whatever. And like one day he breaks an experiment and he like goes running off, and he runs into Nora's father. Nora's a baby at this point. Right. Or actually, maybe she hasn't even been born yet, but like she's a baby around this time period. Okay. And Victor's very young, and you know, Nora's father like, you know, kind of takes him in and like ends up like, you know, they treat him as part of their family, so he goes to a lot of like dinners with them, like, you know, obviously hidden away, but like he hangs out more with them. Inevitably, like it is impressed upon Victor that he should also join like the Third Reich kind of thing, right? And so he does that, and it causes Nora's dad to freak out. Sure, yeah. And he's just like, that's it, we're done. Like, this is over. Like, I can't believe you do this. And, like, part of the reason Freeze was doing it was, like, to just keep things copacetic. Yes. But, like, also he shouldn't have done that. No. And inevitably, like Freeze is like, you and your family, we have to get you out of here. You guys have to leave. Like, we have to move you someplace else. And, like, they try to move them to a different lab because they're moving the lab. Okay. Somewhere. As they're all leaving, they are like, no, that's right. They're going to leave, and then they decide they're going to not go with like Freeze, and they're going to run away, and they're going to like, you know, make a break for it. Right. And like Nora's dad tells Victor, he's like, I want you to meet me outside with all your stuff. You're going to come with us. Oh, that's nice. He's just like, I'm not leaving you here with this guy. Like, he's an asshole. And so he ends up, they end up like trying to make a run for it, and obviously they're using, by the way, the Germans are using the cryotechnology for horrific experiments, and like I think Nora's dad stumbles upon what they're doing, and that like they're experimenting on Jews. Yeah. And like Victor's like, no, like we are using the information and blah blah blah, and like part of it is Victor's dad doesn't have a choice, but he's also doing it. Right. So it's like he's a villain in a different way. Yes. They do work out a freeze gun. Okay. That kind of thing. Cool. So when they make a break for it, a noise ends up like happening, and like the Nazis see them, and they start chasing after them. They surround them. Victor's dad shows up and is just like, oh, no, this is fine. These are some of my test subjects. We're going to take them to my facility. Oh. So he tries to pull that, and the officer's like, they're going with us. That's it. Okay. And so, like Nora's dad gives baby Nora to little Victor, and he's like, take care of her. Oh. And then, like, he and Victor's dad have like a scuffle, and like Victor's dad had a gun. Okay. And the gun goes off, and it kills Nora's dad. Okay. And so like inevitably the rest of the story is that like they load up all of the rest of Nora's family, and like Victor like, he tells Victor, he's like, just stay here. Mm-hmm. And he goes after them. He uses the freeze gun. He takes them down and like helps them all to get out. Victor's dad inevitably ends up being allowed to enter the U.S. and is kind of forgiven what he has done to some degree, but he works for the Waynes for a bit, or he's offered to work for the Waynes. He never actually takes it. Mm-hmm. And so now Victor works there. This is all couched in the story where like Nora and Victor are working together, and she always was mad at Victor's dad, but then she finally heard the rest of the story as to what actually happened, and that it really was an accident, because Thomas Wayne is there with his wife, and she's she's pregnant, but she's like not ready. Yeah. And she actually ends up going into labor. Oh. And like Thomas is like, I don't know if I'm ready to be a father, and blah blah blah, but like I'm gonna do it. And like they decide to use the cryo technology that's there to try to help her, to stabilize her, so that they can like do whatever they need to do. Sure. They like Thomas is like, I'll do it, and he scrubs up and he goes to like take an IV to put in Martha's arm, mm-hmm. and like his hands are shaking so much that like he can't do it, and like he's like, you know, like, I'm a doctor, I should like be able to do this, and he's just like, yeah, but like your wife and your unborn child are your patient. This isn't for you to do. And like Victor takes it away from me. He's like, let me do my job. Let me do what you pay me all this money to do.
Right.
And so it's just a sweet story about like where they came from. Very different, because then we see the future or like the present where like Batman's kind of talking about what happened there, and where he got this pocket watch from, how it was his like, you know, it was a gift.
Yep.
And that like Vic and Nora still work together. Like Nora's not in a tube.
Right. Yeah. Well, she got well, they're both old, right?
Yeah.
Because they got it when they were both unfrozen. Yeah.
Yeah. So
cool. Okay.
it was a fine story. I wasn't like blown away, but it was just a different take.
Yeah. There's another Black Label book out there.
That was because this was also Black Label.
They're all Black Labels. There's nothing but Black Label now. Black Label.
Black Label.
Nothing is. Everything is a Black Label book now. Yeah, I'll get a Black Label book.
Yeah.
Anything that isn't in continuity is a Black Label book, except for the books that will be in continuity that are also Black Label books when they replace all the characters with like different versions of those characters. The Question from Jeff Lemire and Dennis Cohen. Is like a Black Label book. It reads like a Rorschach book because Question inspired Rorschach. Basically, Vic Sage is a TV personality who, a TV reporter who, The Question aids his attempt to help the world out at large by exposing, bad people with, evidence that he can then put on his show that then exploits them. Characters from The Question's past are reimagined and reinterpreted in this book. It is a very it feels like a gritty noirish detective story. The art by Dennis Cohen feels very like 90s. It's like a blend of like Ramita and Klaus Janson. I don't know if it feels like a noir detective story so much as it feels like a gritty 90s Vertigo
the
comic
coloring betrays its ability to be that noir story.
That's exactly right. It's too bright, it's too colorful, but otherwise it really feels this book is the most like Daredevil End of Days. So if you dug that, you're gonna love this. Again, by the way, I did, so I enjoyed it. And so Vic's got this like Masonic, Illuminati type mystery to unravel, which started out with just a corrupt mayor, and so it has far-reaching implications that even go so far as to implicate Vic Sage / The Question's own identity into this whole thing. Like, who is he? Where did he come from? What's that all about? So there's a lot of fun stuff to go on in this book. I think if you're looking to support a non-Bat Black Label book, you could do worse. And this is a
Bat Label.
Yeah, and this is a good one. It's just but it is nothing more than a simple looking detective story.
Right.
Which isn't really a detective story so much as it is just kind of like a urban justice warrior kind of story.
Okay.
But with some crazy antics. So I think there's a lot for everybody in this. You're gonna enjoy The Question. If you like The Question, you're gonna love this. If you don't know who The Question is, I say check it out. So,
yeah. No, there you go.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think we got some recommendations to give.
Yeah.
I'm only recommending one book this week.
What?
Everything else is like woof.
That's not true, because I've got Rex.
Yeah, but mine is Dark Multiverse Infinite Crisis. Blue Beetle says yes to Maxwell Lord. What does that mean? Find out in this issue, I guess.
He said yes?
Yeah, instead of no and then getting his head blown off, he says yes. So we'll see what happens. It looks fun. I don't know. That's everything from there that I saw that I could find that was coming out next week.
You mean this week?
This week.
Wednesday.
This Wednesday, I'm
right
sorry.
before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So actually, if you don't find a whole lot to buy this week, hopefully this episode of the show might have given you some stuff maybe you missed last week, because there was a lot last week.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing they were banking on the fact that not everyone might make it to their local comic book store. Since the impending holiday, usually a lot of people travel on that Wednesday.
Yep.
So if you missed some stuff, now's not a bad time to go back and grab some things that maybe you may have missed last week.
Right.
I'm going to recommend Conan the Barbarian 2099. Because I have an issue with Conan, where if you put Conan on it, I'm gonna buy it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's really necessarily the best way to be doing this.
Right.
But I am going to do it anyway. I literally don't know who's writing this book. I'm just trying.
Jeff Shaw.
Jeff Shaw. Because look at this cover.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The art's by Jeff Shaw.
Oh, there's okay, you have it.
Yeah. It doesn't really say.
No, but that's okay. I'm gonna pick it up anyway, check it out, see what's going on with Conan. He's got like a fire lightsaber kind of sword. Whatever, I'm down. I get at least one. I'll try at least one.
Of course.
I also want to make you aware that Justice League Dark number 17 is coming out.
Yay.
You're the villain. Tie-in. So we'll be dealing with Cersei and the Floronic Man and Solomon Grundy.
Which you were doing before.
Yeah, we were doing it anyway. And like honestly, of course, Cersei is tied in to what has been happening regardless because Tynan is a professional. So don't forget to check that out if you're on the Justice League Dark. And don't forget that Tynan is only on it for so long, folks. So
but then he'll come back to it. There's going to be like this little break and then he'll go back to the
That's fine. Just hopefully it won't be like in between. Because that could easily happen.
Oh yeah.
Which is going to suck for me because it's like Tynan will be off this book for a time. At least we'll have Something is Killing Children unless that goes on hiatus. And then Aaron will be off Conan. I'm like, what am I doing?
I know.
I'm also going to recommend... Originally, I was only recommending this because of the title. But then I read it, like read the description of it, and I'm in. Philadelphia from Image. Philadelphia #1 is coming out from Jason Sean Alexander.
Okay.
Who's was an artist on Spawn.
Oh, yeah.
And Rodney Barnes. And basically, this is like a small town beat cop comes home to bury his father, the Reverend in Philadelphia, or revered, revered, not Reverend, revered Philadelphian detective.
Okay.
And he goes down this like path of mystery and horror and what's going on, what happened to his dad, and there's vampires. Put vampires in there. I was again, you sold me with the name.
Right.
And then you made it vampires.
Right.
So naturally, I was on board.
Yeah.
The other recommendation I'm going to do is another Black Label book.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Basket Full of Heads #2 is coming out next week. If you liked Basket Full of Heads #1, or you liked my review of it, go check it out. It's a book set in the 80s, has like a real Jawsian, obviously like Stephen Kingian, written by his son, feel to it. I can't wait to read more about it. There's like crazy cursed Viking axes going on in this small town.
Cool.
So I can't wait to read and learn more about this. So go check that out too.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's all of them. Is that all your recommendations?
Yeah, that's all. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, Thanksgiving's gonna happen. Eventually, we'll be, like, sitting around having pie, and I might crack open my basket full of heads. That's
right,
always, it's a good conversation starter.
That's true. Taylor Petcher says, this question book feels like it's semi-follow-up to O'Neill's question run from the 80s, both in tone and art, since Cowan drew that as well. Yeah, very much so. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a follow-up, like a direct one. But,
nice.
That'd be really fun. So now we just gotta wait to find out who won this. One like this. I'm not gonna send you mine.
That's yours.
Yeah, this is mine. It's not signed by anybody, but it's still mine.
Yeah.
But you're
there are many
one of
like
these.
it.
Yeah. So we're gonna randomly select a #Batman winner, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
The way it's gonna work is
Jerry Dugan is doing Conan. Yeah. All right. For $29.99.
Oh, that's cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Literally, the site I was on was just like, hey, do you want to know who's writing or creating these books?
Right? No. Good call. Comics list. All right. Well, the winner has been chosen. To find out who wins this 300 episodes extravaganza raffle that I made up before we started shooting. So here we go. Danielle's going to let me know who the winner was, and then we'll let you know who the winner was. Yep. I don't know why. I'm just waiting around to do this. So, yeah. Aside from that, I think as far as house cleaning goes, we're not going to do Elseworlds this week because tomorrow is basically a holiday that leads into the holiday for Thursday.
But I will be playing some video games tonight at some point, so it'll probably be a little later.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing it anyway. We're gonna be like playing some Fallen Order.
Yeah. So if you want to watch somebody play some video games,
if you want to watch somebody who desperately wishes they could go down the path of the Sith, apparently, but can't in this game.
Yeah, then
the struggle is real for me.
Then go over to twitch.tv/ComicPOP and follow us so that you'll get an update about when Tiffany goes live.
Actually, turn the updates on. Everybody gets them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, turn them on. Turn on your updates for Twitch. The official winner is John from Buckland.
Hey!
So, John from Buckland, congratulations, first of all. Secondly, I need you to email me. Email me, sal@comicpop.net, and give me your contact information. I will mail you a copy of this book right here. I'm looking forward to, you getting your hands on a Batman Long Halloween. I want to thank everybody for entering this fun little raffle and for participating in this whole experiment that we call YouTube. We're very, very lucky to have you. In terms of Thanksgiving, I'm very thankful for not only my incredible wife and my friends and all that, but for you out there for making this channel possible and for allowing us to keep doing this. So we want to thank you so much for everything and for your constant support and for your kindness. We are so lucky to have you out there. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for that. So congratulations to John from Buckland, and thank you all so much for hanging out with us on this episode of Off the Rack, 300th episode.
I can't believe it.
Of Off the Rack. So John, if you haven't gotten your marketing orders, email me, sal@comicpop.net, and send me your info, and I'll make sure you get the necessaries. So from there, so tomorrow we'll release back issues. Actually, we'll probably release this in the morning and then back issues later, and then we'll go from there. And then we'll start the whole thing over again on Monday.
Woo!
Yeah, looking forward to it. But thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next time here on Comic Pop. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, click the bell to get notifications, and of course, share your videos that you like from this channel around, because that helps grow the channel some.
Yes.
So, that's it. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody.
Bye, guys.